Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, members of the faculty and staff, family and friends of the graduates, and members of this, our graduating class of 2018, welcome to the Berkeley Haas MBA commencement ceremony. I am Rich Lyons, Dean of the Haas School. It is my duty and great pleasure, thank you, to officiate at your ceremony here today. And what a great day this is. And it's a particularly special day for me as well. This is my closing opportunity to officiate at our Berkeley MBA commencement. After 11 years, my tenure as dean will come to an end this summer. So in some sense, I too am graduating from my current role, and I'm doing it along with you, which I couldn't be happier about. Thank you. I have just a few minutes to try to sum up your experience here, not an easy task. You have learned a tremendous amount about yourselves and about each other. You've built connections that will last lifetimes. Many of you have transformed your current trajectories or your roles within your current organizations. More than a few of you are creating new ventures. All of you have been transformed in some profound way. That is, after all, why you came here. Every one of you was seeking something more from your work and from your life. You wanted to make a greater impact. You wanted to become an even more effective leader. Here at Berkeley Haas, we've taken a particular stand on the kinds of leaders we aim to develop, both through our curriculum and through our culture. Berkeley leaders, as we use the term, Berkeley leaders do not just distinguish themselves by their hard work, their intellect, and exemplary skill. Those are to be expected. Berkeley leaders distinguish themselves as people who see things differently, who challenge convention. They see themselves as stewards of something larger, and they live our four defining principles out loud. As students here, you know these principles by heart. You'd better. And after you received your degrees today, you will carry them forward into your careers and lives. I'll go through each of the four very quickly. These really are leadership principles. It's hard to think of a great leader that you respect who doesn't practice these four things. First of all, question the status quo. Question the status quo. Your coursework has given you a toolkit to look beyond established norms, to dig for the roots of problems and reframe them rather than just attacking their offshoots. That is how you will find unexpected solutions to even the most wickedly difficult problems. Putting something new out there takes courage, and it takes a willingness to risk failure. And that requires humility, which brings us to our second leadership principle: confidence without attitude. True confidence comes without arrogance. Being a leader means you will do your best work working with and through other people, not as individual contributors. Earning respect and inspiring the people around you to reach their full potential means, among other things, checking your ego and engaging in respectful debate, gracefully giving and receiving feedback, making decisions based on evidence and analysis. Becoming a Berkeley leader has given you the tools to bring people together, to engender trust and confidence and followership, and also to transform organizations. Our third principle: students always. Will you know at the end of your career, when you're at the top of your game, that you still have feedback to hear, that you still have learning to do, and do the people who work with and for you know that you know that? This one's an easy one to forget. The most innovative leaders know that they always have something to learn. During their MBA coursework and activities, you have gotten to know more about your strengths and also about your weaknesses. That gives you the insight to seek out people and experiences you can learn from. Hire boldly. Don't be afraid to bring in people who know more than you do. Build teams that include a wide range of perspectives. Divergent ideas are really valuable, and you fully understand that now. And last but not least, the fourth of these leadership principles: beyond yourself. Beyond yourself. This is fundamental to Berkeley and to the Haas culture. No matter where your career takes you, practice this in big and small ways. That includes everyday actions such as sharing information and giving generous credit to others. It also means thinking big, taking the longer view in your decisions and in your actions, a sense of stewardship for something larger. Some people like the phrase, officers eat last. We all know what that phrase means, and we've all worked with and for people who are officers eat first people. We know what that looks like as well. And most of us know who we want to follow and the kinds of people that we know are going to make the right call when we need them to make the right call. Taken in whole, these defining leadership principles reflect who you have been as students, and I know they will serve you as guideposts for you going forward. Use them to create purpose for yourselves and also purpose for those around you. Now, before we proceed, I want to offer special thanks to a group of individuals who have worked hard to make this day possible for you, our soon-to-be graduates. That is, the parents, the spouses, the partners, the family and friends of our graduating students in the audience today. Thank you for all that you have done. And I think only you know just how much you have done to make this possible, so thank you for that. One of the great traditions at the Haas School is the selection of our commencement speaker. Each year we call upon an individual of uncommon distinction to address the MBA graduating classes. In the Berkeley Haas tradition, we also seek an individual who personifies our leadership values based on those defining principles. This year, we are delighted that the Berkeley Haas MBA commencement speaker is such a leader, and he is one of your very own, a fellow MBA alum. And this is Paul Rice, President and CEO of Fair Trade USA. Paul graduated from Haas with an MBA. It was 1996. 2 years later, he launched Fair Trade USA, which certifies everything from coffee to cocoa to seafood as the leading certifier of fair trade products in all of North America. People called Paul crazy in the early days of fair trade. But from his 11 years organizing farmers in the highlands of Nicaragua, he knew what other people didn't, that farmers and workers played a critical role in their own journey out of poverty. By purchasing products with the Fair Trade Certified label, U.S. consumers have helped generate over $500 million in additional income for farmers and workers in 70 countries. That's allowed them to keep their children in school, care for their environment, and steadily improve their livelihoods. Paul is a 4-time winner of the Fast Company Social Capitalist of the Year award. He's the recipient of the prestigious Skoll Award for Social Entrepreneurship. Paul has spoken at the World Economic Forum, the Clinton Global Initiative, the Skoll World Forum, TEDx Talks, and numerous universities and conferences around the world. He is a true Berkeley leader who demonstrates the power of a Berkeley MBA degree and its role in deeply changing other people's lives. Please join me in a warm welcome for Paul Rice.
Thank you, Dean Lyons, for that kind and generous introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. There we go. Is the MBA class of 2018 in the house? So I heard a rumor about y'all. I heard that you were the smartest, coolest graduating class ever. Is that right? So hopefully this will be the smartest, coolest commencement speech ever, right? Seriously, I'm so grateful to be here and so proud of you all. As Rich said, I've been through the program myself. I know how challenging it is. I know how stressful it can be at times. And so I just want to commend you all for your hard work, for your perseverance. And I want to echo what Dean Lyons said. We would not be here today if not for our family, our friends, our support network who made it possible. So the honor that you're receiving today is for all of them as well. Let's show our appreciation. By the way, will the evening and weekend MBA graduates please make some noise? You guys deserve special props, special respect, right? I mean, you're working. You're out there working your job, and you decide to get an MBA kind of in your spare time? I mean, that's crazy commitment right there. And I can relate. My mama was a single mom. She went back to school when I was just a kid. She went all the way through. She got her bachelor's, her master's, her PhD, all the while working and raising me and my sisters. She was the original Wonder Woman. She had a superpower, and I see that superpower in you. And I'm so grateful for the example that you all have set for your kids and for us all. I have to say something about Dean Rich Lyons. Rich has been such an incredible leader here in the Haas community. Over the last 11 years, under his leadership, we've raised record amounts of resources for the school. We've built a new building. We've codified and really cemented our core values and our culture with the defining leadership principles. I just saw a study that says that the number one reason why you all came here was because of the culture, because of the values of this school. I dare say that is probably Rich's greatest legacy, is really bringing us together with a strong common bond of values and culture. And so, Rich, on behalf of the entire Haas community, I want to express our profound admiration and our heartfelt gratitude for everything that you've done for us and for our community. All right, so I have a confession. I was really nervous about this speech. So I got on YouTube and I started wonking out, and I watched a whole bunch of commencement speeches. And the more I watched, the more I realized that the common thread through all of them is that commencement speakers like to give out life advice. They like to give advice. And as I watched these cheesy prescriptions, I realized that I'm not going to do that today. You guys are way too smart and way too talented and have so much promise and potential. The last thing you need is for me to get up here and give you advice about your lives. So I'm not going to do that. Question the status quo, right? I'm going to do something else. I'm going to share some reflections that I have about this moment in history, and about the opportunities and the obligations that face us all. And I'm going to get serious for a minute, because the world is in trouble. The world is in trouble. And look, it's strange, because if you look at the data around economic growth around the world over the last 50 years, you have to conclude that this has been a remarkable period in history. We've seen dramatic economic growth in even the poorest countries in the world. And yet, we also have so much data that proves now that the benefits of that economic growth are not trickling down to the poorest of the poor. Literally, billions of people are being left behind by globalization. The numbers are numbing. World Bank studies, UN studies, academia. Here's what they say. Today, 2 billion people are trying to survive on $2 a day. We have 800 million people that go hungry on a regular basis. We have 800 million people that don't have access to clean water. We have 263 million kids of school age who can't go to school because of their poverty. We have 25 million people today that are victims of trafficking and modern-day slavery. And that's just on the social side. On the environmental side, we're cutting down 20 million acres of forest every year. It has a huge impact on global warming. I just saw the NASA's latest study on climate change. Climate change is accelerating, and we don't have a handle on it. Now, I'm sorry to bring such bad news to a day of joy and celebration, but we got to keep it real. This is the world we face. And this data, for me, is a compelling and powerful call to action for our entire generation. Perhaps the survival of our species depends on it. Now, I would argue that the old approaches to these problems are not working fast enough or big enough. In the past, we would look to government. We would look to government regulation or public policy, or we would look to well-intentioned nonprofit organizations to tackle problems like poverty and environmental destruction. And they still have a role, but their solutions are not coming fast enough. So I believe it is time now for business to step up. It's time for business to bring the incredible entrepreneurial spirit and the creativity and the talent and the resources to bear on the world's most intractable problems. And my paper's blown away. Honestly, I came to this conclusion during my years in Nicaragua. I went there as an idealistic 22-year-old. I wanted to work with farmers. I worked on a number of different agricultural development projects for years, helping farmers improve their yields in order to improve their income. And these projects are typical of international aid. They were well designed by very smart experts around the world, and we had millions of dollars to invest in alleviating poverty. But honestly, y'all, it didn't work. We failed to develop a sustainable economic development process in the communities. Despite our good intentions and despite the funding, this top-down approach so often doesn't work. I had a chance to pivot in 1990. I started Nicaragua's first farmer-owned coffee export cooperative. And over a couple of years, we brought together 3,000 families, and our farmers were delivering their coffee to a central mill. We processed the coffee, we added value, and we exported direct. And as a result of this business model, we were able to get a dramatically higher price back to our farmers for all their hard work. And that in turn allowed us to do amazing things in our communities. Our farmers were able to put food on the table. They were able to keep their kids in school. In fact, we built schools. We launched healthcare programs. We dug wells to bring clean drinking water into our villages for the first time. We set up microcredit programs targeting women so that women could develop their own businesses and their own economic independence. We taught our farmers to go organic. We reforested thousands of acres of land that had been deforested. And here's the punchline. We did all of this social and environmental progress, not thanks to the good wishes or the goodwill of a government agency or an international agency. We did it thanks to business. We did it thanks to this market-based approach that harnessed the entrepreneurial energy of our farmers. So it seems to me that is the challenge. How do we harness the power of business to the task of tackling the world's problems? My experience in Nicaragua changed me profoundly, and it's what brought me back to Haas. It made me want to take that small experience in Nicaragua and scale it up. And I have to say the Berkeley Haas MBA was a big part of me being able to do that. So thank you. So here's the good news. I see a more enlightened era of capitalism emerging. Many business leaders call this conscious capitalism or business with purpose. But what we're seeing is a fundamental shift in which companies are bringing values and sustainability into their cultures and into their strategies. And I think this shift reflects a real change in the thinking of business leaders around sustainability. I think in the past, most business leaders saw sustainability and responsibility as being at odds with profitability. Either you pursued sustainability or you tried to maximize profits for shareholders, but you couldn't do both. My dear friend and mentor, Dave Sherman, calls this trade-off mentality. But what I see happening today is the evolving realization that sustainability and profitability can go together. Smart business leaders, purpose-driven business leaders are actually proving that sustainability can drive long-term success for the firm, that it can drive long-term shareholder value. And this realization isn't just among the pioneers, people like John Mackey of Whole Foods or Ben & Jerry's or Yvon Chouinard at Patagonia. Increasingly, we're seeing some of the biggest business leaders, some of the biggest companies in the world embracing this philosophy. So Paul Polman, for example, CEO of Unilever. Unilever has been working on climate change and human rights, on sustainable agricultural supply chains, and at the same time, their business is thriving. Indra Nooyi, the CEO of PepsiCo, launched her Performance with Purpose initiative a few years ago. As part of that, they sought to reduce their environmental footprint. PepsiCo just announced that in the pursuit of this effort, they just saved the company $600 million over the last 5 years. So social and environmental value and financial value can go together. They're showing that. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. I don't know if you all saw that. He put out a public letter a few months ago. BlackRock is the largest hedge fund in the world with $6 trillion. And Larry Fink said that BlackRock is going to start evaluating companies not just based on financial performance, but also based on social impact. So clearly, this is a new day. We also find companies increasingly taking a public stand on the issues of the day and on their values. I just saw a commercial last week, a TV commercial. Budweiser had a commercial that talked about equal pay for women. And look at all the brands that have cut ties with the NRA in the aftermath of the Parkland school shooting. United Airlines, Delta Airlines, Hertz, MetLife, all these companies have cut their special programs with the NRA. And after today's tragic shooting at a school in Houston, I dare say a lot more brands are going to join this issue and take a stand. One of my favorite examples is Patagonia. So on Black Friday 2016, Patagonia announced that it was going to donate 100% of its online sales revenue to nonprofits that were doing work on climate change. Normally, Patagonia would have sold between $1 and $2 million worth of product online on Black Friday. That year, they sold $10 million worth of product. And they donated it all to charity. And what it showed is that when companies do the right thing, we as consumers are inclined to support them and to reward them. And that gives me a lot of hope. So clearly it is no longer taboos. It is no longer taboo for companies to take a stand on controversial issues, and it's no longer taboo for companies to boldly state their values. In fact, I would argue that brands are increasingly looking to forge lifelong relationships with their customers, and so they're going beyond talking about product features. They're looking to forge a connection based on shared cultural values. So that's the opportunity we have as purposeful business leaders to tap into that. So, I think it's a harder job to drive sustainability into the business model, and I want to come back to that for just a second, because the challenge we all face is how do we make the business case for sustainability, for doing the right thing? And I face this every day in the fair trade movement. I had a conversation with Doug McMillon, the CEO of Walmart, a couple of weeks ago. Walmart is now launching a whole line of fair trade and organic products. And I called him to thank him, and Doug said to me, we're proud to do this, but the only way that we can grow the program, the only way that we can scale it, is if you can show that fair trade is creating value in terms of supply chain security, and in terms of sales of the product. There has to be a business case. And so I think that's the challenge for us all, to create sustainable business models that grow the pie, not that redistribute the pie, but that grow the pie, borrowing from Michael Porter's theory of shared value, that grow the pie in a way that serves both companies, the environment, and the communities in our supply chains. Now, I've touched a bit on consumer behavior, and my final point is about that. It's about conscious consumerism. You know, in the past, when we would go shopping, looking for products, we would really only care about three things, right? Quality, price, and price. But in growing numbers, we're now starting to ask more. We're asking, where does my stuff come from? Is it safe? Is it healthy? Is it sustainable? Is there child labor in my chocolate bar? Is there deforestation in these products? We're starting to ask the questions. None of us wants to feel like our shopping decisions are doing harm in the world. None of us want to feel like we're hurting the farmers or the workers that made those products. And so we're starting to educate ourselves. We're starting to read the label. We're starting to shop more responsibly. The conscious consumer may still be a small percentage of the total population, depending on whose research you believe. It's between 20 and 40% of adult American shoppers who are regularly looking for products that are more sustainable and responsible. But the data also indicates that this is a macro trend, because millennials index very high in terms of their expectations of companies and their practices. Millennials expect companies to be more responsible, to be more sustainable, to protect the environment, and to serve society. And so clearly conscious consumerism is a wave of the future. And what we've seen is that when companies offer more sustainable and responsible products, and when they tell the story, consumers step up. We step up, we buy more, and we reward them with our loyalty. And it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, we live in a time when so many of us are completely frustrated with the political process. No matter where you land on the political spectrum, there are so many of us that are so frustrated with the political process, who don't believe that our voice is heard, who feel like our vote really isn't making a difference. So people are hungry for easy ways to make a difference, to feel like they're doing the right thing. And guess what? We all shop, right? We all eat. We all wear clothes. Except some crazy neighbors of mine down the street here in Berkeley. But most of us wear clothes. So what an amazing thought that we can vote for a better world with our shopping dollars. That with the things that we choose to purchase and the businesses that we choose to support, with the things that we choose to purchase and the businesses that we choose to support, we can support a better world. What an incredible thought that with something as simple as a cup of coffee, we can reach halfway across the world and help a coffee farming family keep their kids in school. I mean, that's powerful, powerful stuff. And I believe that it has captured the imagination of millions and millions of Americans. It's what's driving the conscious consumer movement, and it's what gives me hope. So here's my parting thought. The world desperately needs you. The world of your children desperately needs you. And never has there been more opportunity for a generation of purposeful business leaders to go out and make a difference. You know, we are a very special tribe, our Berkeley Haas community. Bound by common values, bound by a culture of service, bound by a commitment to leave the world better than the way we found it. Now you have the knowledge, the tools, and the network to do just that. And I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, Paul. How do we leverage the power of business to address these challenges that we face together? And conscious consumerism. And the world needs you. The world needs all of us. These are powerful ideas. You know, leaders and managers really are being held to high standards, and sometimes higher standards, and we don't always get it right as leaders, but the game is evolving, and that much is clear. An example that I love to use in this area is, imagine a journalist asking the CEO of, I'll use Pepsi, Paul used Pepsi as an example, 40 years ago, asking that CEO, what's your water footprint? How much water do you consume to produce your product? And the CEO back then might have said, well, we have N factories, and the pipes that go into each factory are this diameter. Do the math, that's the number. And then if the journalist 40 years ago had said, what about the sugar cane? The CEO might have said, that's not my problem. You could never say that today. That would never be acceptable today. And things have changed, and that's a good thing. And we still have a lot further to go. Thank you for those words, Paul. Let us turn now. We're going to turn now to the Haas School's Evening and Weekend MBA program. This spring, our program was again ranked as the #1 part-time MBA program in the country. I believe it's 5 years running, #1 in the country by U.S. News and World Report, by far its most important ranking. Our evening and weekend MBA students complete their studies over 3 years, while most are fully employed. Many of the students are parents themselves. Most of them make the difficult commute from all parts of the Bay Area and also far beyond. We are proud of these very motivated, very energetic, and multi-talented professional students. It is my pleasure to present the Evening MBA Award for Outstanding Academic Performance. This is given to the student in the program with the highest grade point average. I'll tell you the average before I tell you the name. The average was 3.955, and our honoree is Dmitry Kovalev. Dmitry Kovalev. Dmitry has a lot of fans, as you can tell. Originally from Russia, he holds a PhD already in information security from the national. Is that unfair to have a PhD? I never thought of that as unfair. From National Research Nuclear University, MEFI in Moscow. He now works as Technical Solutions Architect at Cisco, where he's been employed since 2008. As his title suggests, he is passionate about designing solutions that improve business performance. Dmitry also serves on the board of directors of Goodler Foundation, a nonprofit social impact incubator for young people from all socioeconomic backgrounds who have the desire to contribute to the common good. Congratulations again, Dmitry. Well done. We now recognize the winners of the Evening and Weekend MBA program Defining Leadership Principle Awards and also the Berkeley Leader Award. The Evening and Weekend MBA students nominated and selected classmates. So this is a peer given award who've made outstanding contributions to the MBA experience and best embody our Haas defining leadership principles. These awards have already been presented to the students, but we want to make sure to acknowledge them here in front of their friends and family. As I announce the evening and weekend MBA recipients of the Defining Leadership Principle and Berkeley Leader Awards, I will ask each of them to stand. And just so it's clear, these are people, all of us aspire to practice all four of those principles all the time. These are people that just were standouts among standouts, really quite remarkable in their behavior. And so their peers on Question the Status Quo, their peers said, you stand out among all of these people that take this so seriously. There's got to be a better way to do this. That's the sort of mindset we're talking about. The two winners, we had two winners, so it was a tie this year, Pedro Moura and Miles Scotcher. Pedro and Miles. For the defining leadership principle, confidence without attitude, a standout among standouts, Anthony Bars. Anthony. For students always called out by peers as just absolutely extraordinary, Bill Collins. Bill Collins. And for beyond yourself, that sense of stewardship, deep sense of stewardship for something larger, Miles Young Lamb. Miles. And the Berkeley Leader Award was the person who just so blends and balances all four of those principles that they stand out among all of us. Candace Madruga. Noel. Candace. Thank you all for exemplary contributions to the school and to your classmates. Now we will hear from the evening and weekend MBA student speaker, and that is Amelia Rose Kusar, who was selected by her classmates to speak. Amelia has spent her entire career in the performing arts industry, most recently at the San Francisco Symphony, where she led new initiatives on audience development and patron experience. She has a Bachelor of Music degree from NYU, New York University, and pursued an MBA in order to be a change agent that makes arts, culture, and knowledge accessible to people from all walks of life. She served as the co-president of the Evening Weekend MBA Student Association. Prior to that, she was VP of Admissions, Orientation, and Incoming Student Experience, where she was able to pass on her passion for Haas's unique culture to new classes of students. Ladies and gentlemen, the Evening and Weekend MBA program speaker, Amelia Rose Kusar. Amelia.
Curtain up. My evening and weekend class of 2018, we are finally here. And I need to let everyone here in the audience know exactly what my classmates have accomplished to be here today. You've heard a little bit about it. 3 years of business school classes, extracurricular activities, full-time jobs, family and friends, not even to mention job changes and promotions, starting your own companies, getting married and having your first homes, and perhaps most impressively, you all have made 44 babies over the course of these 3 years. Yeah. That definitely deserves a round of applause. You've accomplished all of this, your final projects are in, and you are done. And how incredible is it to be here today? But at the same time, there's a bittersweetness to this day, isn't there? Do you feel a little tightness here, a little heaviness when you think, God, this is going to be the last time that we are all here together? What's that about? I don't think it's about you guys missing all of the hours that you spent on your finance homework or strategic brand management or mergers and acquisitions. But if for some reason that is why you are getting a little choked up today, we will have a different conversation about that later. I don't even think it's about missing all of the amazing friends that we've made along the way. We can all stay in touch if we choose to. Do we want to have a yearly reunion at Free House? No problem, let's do it. But I think it's something else. Regardless of the reasons that we came here today to get an MBA, be it the higher paycheck, the corner office, seeing the word CEO after your name, we all found something more. We all went on a journey of transformation. For perhaps the first time, our eyes were open to the fact that there is so much more to leadership than the title on your business card or the amount of zeros on your paycheck. We found that we have the power to make a difference in the world, be it mentoring or coaching your employees, or starting a company where you impact the lives of thousands of people. You found that you have the tools and the knowledge to do that. And you found that the true glory in leadership is through this act of serving others, through the act of serving those that follow us, to help them grow and thrive and become great leaders themselves. So now that we're not going to be in this environment surrounded by the 4 defining leadership principles and surrounded by our amazing classmates who are some of the most intelligent, driven, and compassionate people we can ever hope to meet, how do we stay true to the lessons that we've learned along this really humbling journey? If you think that I have the answers to that today, you are definitely going to want a refund on this little pep talk. But as I was thinking about these questions myself, I was reminded of an instance from my own childhood that has just stuck with me for the rest of my life, even when it's just a little voice in the back of my head when I need a little reality check. I was in 6th grade, and I was applying to some kind of smart kid after school program, and in order to apply for this program, I needed to write an essay. So I wrote my little essay, and I asked my mom if she could read it for me. So to give you a little bit of context, my mama is not one to mince words. She is a Chicago public school teacher and has been for an amount of years that I know she won't appreciate me saying up here on stage. But needless to say, she is a tough cookie. And she read my essay, and she looked up at me and said, "Amy, you keep saying, I deserve to be in this program because of this, or that is why I deserve to be in this program. You don't deserve anything." Now you can probably imagine the reaction of a 12-year-old kid hearing this. What? I don't? But she had more to say. She went on to say, you have to make sure that everything you get in this life, you earn. Do you understand? Everything that you get in this life, you need to earn. Now, have we all earned our place here today? Hell yes. But the journey does not end here. We have our entire lives left to live and to lead. And we need to remember that, yes, we've earned this degree, but that does not mean that everything that comes after today is a given. And I think the harder question still that came up was, have I really earned everything that I've accomplished in my life? And the answer is no. I most certainly have not. And I think if we all took a moment to think about that here in the audience today, a lot of us might come to the same conclusion. So many of the reasons that we are here today are because things have been given to us, be it the family that you grew up in, the neighborhoods that you lived in, your gender, the color of your skin. What do we do with that knowledge, that immense responsibility? Yes, we have earned our right to be here today, but at the same time, this is a gift. It was a gift to even be able to go on this journey in the first place. How do we honor that? And for that question, I cannot help but go back to what has been the greatest lesson for me here at Haas, and that is leadership is the act of service. It's saying to yourself or to your company, we are going to make part of our mission to do better, to make the lives of other people better in any way that we possibly can. I believe that John Quincy Adams put it best when he said, if you inspire others to dream more, to learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. And you are all leaders. So we have all of the opportunities out there for us right now, and I want you to go and take advantage of all of them. I want you guys to make a ton of money. But at the same time, I want us all to make a commitment to ourselves right here today and to everyone sitting next to you to not only earn every success that you're going to get in this life, but to make sure that you pay it forward so that others have a fighting chance to earn the same successes that we've enjoyed. I'll leave you with one final quote from Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." My beloved class of 2018, it has been my distinct privilege to know each and every one of you over the past 3 years, and I cannot wait to see how you all find yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Amelia. Leadership is the act of serving. And have we earned everything we've been given in our lives? That is a very important question. We have outstanding faculty at the Haas School, and we are happy to honor them each year for exemplary performance. The Chait Award for Excellence in Teaching, our Teacher of the Year Award, was established by Dean Emeritus Bud Chait in 1976. It is that Teacher of the Year Award, and he loved his teaching, Bud Chait. He was one of the best. His legacy is still very much alive in this teaching award that is named in his honor. The winner of the Chait Award in our weekend MBA program is Professor Xiaojun Zhang, Xiaojun, for his teaching of financial accounting. Xiaojun could not be with us here today. The winner of the Chait Award for our evening MBA program is Holly Schroth, Professor Holly Schroth. She is receiving her award for the teaching of the negotiations class. Terrific work in the classroom. Now, it is time that we start recognizing. We're going to start with the evening and weekend program candidates, and then we will turn to our full-time MBA program. We are recognizing them for the degree Master of Business Administration. Assisting me today will be Jamie Breen, Assistant Dean of MBA Programs for Working Professionals, and also Mark Gorenflo, Director of Academics for the Evening and Weekend MBA Programs. Senior Lecturer and Chait Award winner Holly Schroth will join me in the presentation of the scrolls.
Salming Sito.
Lauren Gray.
Ikram Makbul.
Dushyant Acharya.
Siddharth Gupta.
Ali Islam.
Shannon Herline.
Amy Choi.
Jessica Eating.
Annie Stromfeld.
Supriya Sunthirum.
Faith Kirkpatrick.
Jason Lee.
Tatiana Kiku.
Wes Leavitt.
Simrat Wasan.
Aaron Gilmore.
Gautami Polasani.
Anthony Carrillo.
Samik Bawal.
Ketki Duvuru.
Vladimir Romanovsky.
Vincent Tumanelli.
Edgar Vigil.
Puven Shankar.
Solomon Simonovic.
Andrew Penato.
Yathin Kathpalia.
Scott Kalgawa.
EJ Obaiche.
Nathan Chung.
Gyro Milftime.
Tushar Anand.
Ander Osbeck.
Adam Whitcop.
Ian Carlson.
Adam Speart.
Matt Baker.
Jonathan Morin.
Thomas LeDolter.
Daniel Conti.
Francesca Tenconi.
Monica Jean Niblack.
Lydia Rose Cole.
Audrey Leon Nelson.
Kurash Zamanizadeh.
Hunter Chen.
Ethan Chen.
Scott Hamasfar.
Manav Verma.
Harsha Srinath.
Lauren Abenshine.
Umberto Yavarone.
Chris Hsu.
Dan Dow.
Christopher Escher.
Chad Busini.
Breck Baird.
Aaron Davidson.
Megan Miller.
Arthi Digay.
Christine Jiang.
Alice Chung.
Yi Zheng.
Alex Abelard.
Subhash Arja.
Rachel Justina.
Stephen Harvey.
Charles Hua.
Ali Serdar.
Omar Malik.
Johnny Zhu.
Leslie McMurtry.
Susanna Jessica Nordrum Ask.
Laxman Pichupin.
Abhijit Linganagari.
Nandita Padamaban.
Kate Razina.
Priya Vijayakumar.
Kushal Shah.
Unirud Sridhar.
Edison Lim.
Akshith Dayal.
Sudhindra Tirupati Nagaraj.
Paul Armano.
Tom Moore.
Mike Williamson.
Preeti Bakawat.
Beira Tandon.
Turiya Narayan.
Anka Popovich.
Ankur Jain.
Dipkin Guglani.
Elam Paji.
Kartik Kanan.
Sushant Burwe.
Adnan Rashid.
Prashant Verma.
Suyag Deshpande.
Pradeep Chalichimala.
Ritu Kamal.
Himanshu Kaplash.
Deepti Goyal.
Sriram Dixit.
Arvind Ragul.
Sridhar Rajagapalan.
Sampuda Chavan.
Young Zhang.
Roshan Lee.
Vip Gupta.
Sveta Vedorokina.
Sarah Sargenti.
Zoe Beck and son.
Nick Johnston.
Logan Newell.
Ken McMacken.
Garuvag Doshi.
Kevin Chow.
Bill Conry.
Kelsey Lopez.
Frank Bunger.
Maria Orton Ochoa.
Rahul Garg.
Sam Wang.
Nicole Fiona Evans.
Shu Chi.
Mehul Dalia.
Jacob Gardner Smith.
Ganesh Srikumar.
Albert Liu.
Andrew Din.
Andrew Joseph.
Joanne Osipov.
Leanne Turner.
Dustin Seeley.
Andrea Michaelian.
Joe Layton.
Haley Dowds Holmberg.
Michael Sullivan.
Jeffrey Gonda.
Christopher Jones.
Paul Glover.
Tejas Kachru.
Jack Gerwick.
Stephen John.
Patrick Haggerty.
Felix Tong.
Neil Tawari.
Pascal Vidinsky.
Samantha Delahunt.
Connie Lim.
Parita Gia.
Timothy Hummel.
Senduran Ravi Narathanan.
Vincent Mutranga.
Arnad Tawu.
Kieran Condrew.
Richard Wang.
William Trang.
Annie Liu.
Rosalind Fernanda Relira.
David Junn.
David Liu.
Karthik Misala.
Brian Bell.
Marina Levy.
Austin Liu.
Ryan Court.
Sunmin Jung.
Karen Go.
Pamela Jew.
Aaron Boyd.
Weiwa Gao.
Shashan Wang,
Kalyan C. Pentapali,
Travis Antoniono,
Karthik 1080,
Saurabh Manga,
Ryan Chen,
Nurulain Noor,
Bina Moore,
Alex Liu,
Zane Lee,
Nasher Ahmed Chalavaram,
Apurv Pandey,
Karan Javar,
Sundar Subramanian,
Stephen Choi,
Wena Ka'ai,
Chu Yi Linapam,
Joy Unbi Kim,
Mu Jing,
Siddharth Arora,
Noe Lutz,
Janet Gunzer Tost,
Diraj Lanawat,
Semyon Sergunen,
Varun Santosh,
Kego Namiki,
Patrick Castles,
Preethi Mukhindan,
Mulik Chiganti,
Sushant Kandapanehi,
Akash Man,
Dulip Gangadhararya,
Mohammed Baj Talui,
Sandeep Banerjee,
Mike Oye,
Seth Mallet,
Junling Ji,
Lee Hong Hickett,
Alex Fung,
Manasi Jagannathan,
Harsha Nagaraju,
Michael Rowland,
Deepak Kurian,
Jeffrey Smith,
Raj Subaya,
Rohit Dalal,
Unshul Tyagi,
Munjal Munshi,
Rajesh Bafna,
Martin Shapanik,
Aditya Uruganti,
Brian Lewis,
Jimmy Gill,
Kate Linarducci,
Sritama Sarkar,
Pedro Felipe Mora,
Anthony Bars,
Bill Collins,
Miles Lamb,
Dmitry Kovalev.
Candice Madruga Knoll.
Miles Scotcher.
Amelia Rose Cusar.
Let us turn now to our full-time MBA program. So how many babies have you created? As most of you know, the full-time Berkeley MBA program is one of the world's most selective MBA programs, admitting on average 13% of applicants each year. Students come from all corners of the globe seeking to study at this great institution. During their 2-year program, they take on high-profile leadership roles in addition to their rigorous coursework. We are very proud of the work they do in and out of the classroom. And every year, we honor one student with the Full-Time MBA Program Award for Outstanding Academic Achievement. This honor goes, as it did in the evening weekend program, to the student completing his or her graduate studies with the highest grade point average in the class. In this case, pretty much the same number, 3.965, John Richard Morgan. John earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from Davidson College with a major in economics. His minor was Spanish. Prior to Haas, he worked for the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, as a financial institution examiner. John has been a student leader of the Challenge for Charity and the Berkeley Real Estate Club. He will be going to work as a senior analyst for HR&A Advisors in New York, doing real estate and economic development consulting. Congratulations to you, John. We recognize now the winners for the full-time MBA program, the Defining Leadership Principal Awards, and also the Berkeley Leader Award, which, as we said in the evening weekend program, personifies the Berkeley Leader, all 4 of those principles, in a wonderful balance. These students were nominated by their classmates and then vetted by and selected by a representative committee composed of MBA students and also administrators. They have all made outstanding contributions to the MBA experience and embody our Haas defining leadership principles. A standout among standouts in the area of questioning the status quo is none other than Erin Nicole Gums. Erin Gums. The standout among standouts, confidence without attitude. Confidence without attitude is Gabriela Belo. Gabriela. Students always, top of the class, Liz Koenig. Liz. For beyond yourself, that sense of stewardship for larger things, Tal Eidelman. Tal. And that perfect blend of all 4 that we all aspire to is Om Dadatria Chitali. Your classmates and all of us thank you for your exemplary contributions to our school. Now, we will hear from the graduating student representing this, our full-time MBA program. The student speaker is Jeffrey Thomas Webb. Jeffrey was selected by his classmates to deliver this address. He holds an undergraduate degree in social thought and philosophy from the University of Virginia. He was employed by Google prior to coming to Haas. While at Haas, he served as co-president of the Policy and Politics Club, was on the executive team for the Launch Accelerator for Haas startups. He played on the Haas soccer team. After graduation, Jeffrey says he seeks to work on problems that matter with people who are as driven by culture and values as those at Haas. Long term, he's interested in the connection between public discourse and technology. He wants to help build systems that improve public conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, the full-time MBA program speaker, Jeffrey Thomas Webb.
Promising start. Is it on straight? Straight? No? There? Nope. There. Screw it. Got it. Those of you who know me know that I have two great loves in life: the ancient Greeks and the sound of my own voice. To my classmates, thank you for somehow giving me both of my loves in the same afternoon. Over the last few weeks, I suspect that many of us have become nostalgic about our Haas experience, and I am no exception. But there is one thing that I will not miss: case studies. Think back to the hundreds of case studies you either read through or, more likely, pawned off on your study teammates to read on your behalf. I'm looking at you, Abby. Every single case study ends the exact same way. Sarah glanced out the window of her Cupertino office. The sun setting as a breeze rustled through the trees. 7 empty kombucha bottles on the table in front of her. She glanced again at her financial projections. She'd already had some success with insert generic HBS startup here. But she knew the board would expect a decision from her tomorrow. Whether it's the first case in Toby Stewart's entrepreneurship class or the 90th time you've read about Southwest Airlines and strategy, the protagonist is always trying to answer the same questions. What should we do? And how do we know? When you put it like that, what should we do and how do we know, sound like the kind of abstract philosophical problems you might associate with ancient togaed people walking around places that look like this, rather than with business school students. And of course, 2,400 years ago in Athens, an old man was put to death by his fellow citizens for having the gall to ask those questions. And so Western thought was born. But in fact, what I'd like to suggest this lovely afternoon is that the entire purpose of our MBA education has been to teach us how to grapple with these fundamental problems. Yes, of course, we've learned lots of practical concepts over the last 2 years. Discount rates and free cash flows, z-tables and p-values, confidence intervals, zopas and BATNAs, irrational exuberance, confirmation bias, and asymmetric information, just to name a few. But there's a more fundamental lesson lurking just behind all those other concepts that binds them together. And it is this that I believe lies at the core of a Haas MBA: how to live in a world of uncertainty. Take discount rates, for example. No, please, stay here. What is a discount rate except the numerical representation of uncertainty, a crystallization of the poetic idea that the present moment is precious, and that tomorrow is fragile. Carpe diem, seize the day, gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Because, based on your weighted average cost of capital, today is approximately 10 to 12% more valuable than tomorrow. Okay, so it isn't exactly Emily Dickinson, but there's a deep truth in that little denominator nonetheless. Indeed, it is not any particular piece of knowledge, but the knowledge of knowledge's limits that permeates the lessons we've learned at Haas. That the opposite of confidence isn't uncertainty, it's arrogance. And the truth is that the world we're entering is plagued by people who have failed to appreciate the demands of uncertainty. What does uncertainty demand? It demands that we consider the unintended consequences of our actions. The motto of Silicon Valley, where many of us will spend our careers, has been to move fast and break things. Its pioneers were so certain that they were making the world better, they asked only, can we build this? Instead of stopping to debate, should we? Move at a reasonable pace and control for externalities isn't half as catchy, but it may be twice as wise. Uncertainty demands that we recognize that we are fallible and biased, prone to rationalizing what we want to be true rather than reasoning towards what is true. In civic life, we avoid uncertainty by sorting ourselves into insular moral and political tribes, surrounding ourselves with people who reaffirm the pleasant fiction that it is we who are wise and just and virtuous, and it is they, those people over there, who are thoughtless and selfish and vicious. And yet the teams we'll go on to manage will be full of people, and there will be disagreements about issues from privacy to parental leave. Those disagreements are inevitable. Uncertainty demands that we see those disagreements as gifts, not as obstacles to be overcome, but as prerequisites for progress. But I know that each of you is prepared to meet the demands of uncertainty. I know because I've seen you struggle with and then conquer the thorny, the uncomfortable, and the ambiguous hundreds of times over the past 2 years. Whether it was Aaron leading difficult conversations during Hot Topics, or Matt Hamilton reflecting on his wartime experiences with people he barely knew during LeadCom, or Gloria simply trying to comprehend how the hell Americans are so happy and offended all at the same time. Which brings me to the final demand of uncertainty, that we navigate it together. Graduation speeches are traditionally optimistic sorts of affairs, full of banal platitudes and easy assurances. I'm supposed to congratulate you for your present and future victories, for corporate ladders climbed, billion-dollar businesses built, and revolutionary organizations led. As another dead person in a toga said, Winnie Weedy Wiki, go, see, conquer. But of course, things aren't quite so certain, and if optimism is what you came for, you shouldn't have chosen a curmudgeonly old man trapped in the body of a 17-year-old to give your graduation speech. Don't get me wrong, you will have your triumphs, but uncertainty means that you will probably fail a lot too. You will struggle. Your startup will run out of cash, you'll get passed over for the C-suite, or you'll make the wrong decision and others will suffer for it. As in Shelley's poem, Ozymandias, all empires end in crumbling ruins eventually. To misquote John Maynard Keynes, in the long, long run, the terminal value of all cash flows is zero. When uncertainty presses itself upon us, let's look back on our years at Haas. Let's remember those late-night dance parties at Molo. The ones we remember anyway. The heart-wrenching and heartwarming story salons, the night spent playing chandeliers at the ski house, the long, laughter-filled dinners on treks from Tokyo to Tel Aviv. Let's remember all that we've learned from one another, and let's remember the duties buried within those memories. I don't need to tell you to go, to see, to conquer. You will do that no matter what. But as you do, remember the demands of uncertainty, the power of lingering in the gray areas of life, the dignity of muddling through together in the dark, of stopping every now and then, gazing out the window of your office in Cupertino or Copenhagen, San Francisco or Sao Paulo, past your 7 empty kombucha bottles, and asking the questions, what should we do, and how do we know? So now, my friends and fellow Haasies, Let's go out into the world together, thoughtful, curious, and compassionate, thankful for the questions, ready for the uncertain. Congratulations, friends.
Thank you, Jeffrey. How do we know? How should we live in a world of uncertainty and the knowledge of knowledge's limits? These two are really important ideas for us. Thank you for those. Before we begin awarding the MBA degrees, it gives me great pleasure to announce the winner of the Chait Award for Excellence in Teaching in this, our full-time MBA program. This year's winner of the Chait Award for faculty in the full-time program is Professor Juliana Schroeder. Juliana also taught the negotiations course. Congratulations, Juliana. We will now recognize the full-time MBA candidates for the degree Master of Business Administration. Assisting me will be Peter Johnson, head of the program, assistant dean of the full-time program, and also admissions. And Peter will be joined by assistant professor and Chait Award winner, Juliana Schroeder.
Victoria Whitaker. Ejidawe Okogbo. Atim Okorn. Camille Veronica Ford. Adrian Williams. Mikhail Ababa. Reginald Davis. Ekenechukwu Anene. Sophia Katie. Brandon White. Zachary Garrett. Evener Petit. Sharifa Dunn. Robert Gutierrez. Richard Erlang. Adrian Rodriguez. Justin Waddell. David Sternlicht. Alexander Middledorf. Eduardo Camargo. Luigi Uliana Rodriguez. Jose Vitor Ribera dos Santos. Tulio da Silveira. Sal Parsa. Noni Oñador. Donald Lee Bullock, Jr. Hans Marcus Klinger. Tyler Paul Owens. Natalie Osterweil. Casey Koopmans. Maria Treskunov. Annie Porter. Amy Elizabeth Traver. Angela Mellon Napit. Guillermo Anuncia Sao. David Andrew Cogswell. Kenneth Scott Devlin. Chen Song. Kenneth Casey Clark Loader II. Issei Nakai. Takumi Kuroiba. Noam Nishri. Chinmay Malavia. Andy Kang. Beth Foster. Nolan Naiwen Chow. James Michael Parnham. Risa Shen. Manav Khurana. Elspeth Ong. Tausif Salim. Jason Chan. Mariko Araya. Kyohei Mukaigawa. Kyle Yoon. Diego Butrick. Kevin Cottle. Gianfranco Gentile. Federico Alvarez del Blanco. Igman Monroy Zapata. Cynthia Fernandez Preda. Gerardo Delgado. Ashley Langquist. Marisol Del Aguila. Michelle Hernandez Rosa. Clarissa Berman. Beatrice Schalka. Maria Garcia de Luque. Mariana Martinez. Paul Hewitt. Diego Green. Khaled Alali. Javier Gunter. Francisco Garzon. Sebastian Kreis. Facundo Laduz. Alvaro de Rivera. Pedro Vial. Ignacio Bravo. Alejandro Jara. Charles Limido. Juan Guillermo Norero Muñoz. Federico Locatelli. Leon Rodriguez. Fernando Manterola. Rafi Cheens. Kai Haas Adams. Carla Maria Colindres Carzaro. Gloria Gangros. Sasijari Riantirawongs. Beth Williams. Caroline Chun. Mackenzie Cook. Alex Wilton. Mark Angel. Annie Kimberly. Laura Smith. Yulia Nechaeva. Alexander Turbanov. Sergei Dobrinov. Christopher Roberts. Emily Gordon. Joshua Ephraim. Kyle Bertine. Furaz Bala. Victor Leclerc. Sean Tully. Anya Braskiewicz. Scarlett Hendricks. Don Kakobeke. Johnny Gutierrez. Cameron Swiggett. Nicholas Firestone. Monica Clark. Taylor Elizabeth Jordan. Jennifer Elaine Haas. Allison Jan Lin. Jeff Oldenburg. Mark Simons. Lindsay Wilson. Claire Dunnington. Allie Ticker. Rose Harris Googe. Vansh Mutraya. Drew Minity. Nathan Boersma. Peter Severson. Jonas Ram. Belu de Abralais. Mehmet Orgut. Mitch Pluger. Federico Pica. Rachel Beth Garrison. Jen Cozen. Molly Brister. Alejandro Jose Angola. Sarah Nomambai. Sarah Umana Yates. Robert Moore. Harsh Rudin Tusu. Nicholas Houston. Jean Godleski. Jefferson Neblet. Martinus Kunrad de Klerk Wenzel. Francois Jerome Celos. Matthew Hamilton. Jake Conger. Maxwell Kushner Lenhoff. Fabian Polgak. David Middleton. Blakey Hartnett Larson. Abhishek Ramaswamy. Matthew Shelton. Amanda Blount Parker. Jeremy Ralph Carlson. Ido Deutsch. George Panagiotakopoulos. Ann Terry Kramer. Samantha Penabad. Tiffany Ray Lee. Corinne Schmidt. Lauren Williams Elstein. Anik Narayan Mathur. Anthony King Jr. Mary Harty. Leah Finn. Bridget Murphy. Nicholas Peters. Zach Thigpen. Christina Pappas. Beverly Tam. Chelsea Barrett Harris. Emma Jeffries. Eric Allen Texa. Lisa Kertas Hunter. Amol Borkar. Kerni Kikelomo Obimakinde. Sofia Ramos Guerrero. Rodrigo Ibarra. Patrick Kelly Jr. Hajar Onjel. Tyler Saltiel. Mega Kansra. Amanda Eller. Maisi Revelato Topan. Thomas Tigran Pierre Chevalier. Tyler Swain. Lucas Chagaz Vital. Paul Norton. David Samuelson. Joanne Lee. Elizabeth Miller. Kanika Metre. Kimberly Tamulevich Ayers. Edouard Ruffier Depenu. Ricky Chalk. Deepak Nainani. Nahita Nishmin. Xiaojun Joanna Guo. Dan Karuga Githinji. Olga Girard. Kim Long. Christine Chen. Sahinaz Safari. Kevin Schuster. Gregory Donald Kaiser. Sarah Evans. Brian Burke. Peter Wasserman. Miles McGinley. Sunny Hien Nguyen. Major Thought Peter Nguyen. Will Lee. Jack Wang. Nicholas Milet. Michael Zahn. Adam Pugh. Kevin Benson. Jason Palacios. Sean Alexander Swift. Folake Dosu. Jay Nari Tak. Jenny Valkovich. Michael Joseph Solars. Alexander Prosser. Ryosuke Yamawaki. Alicia Jingqi Huang. Paul Zhengshar Le. Lori Weijo Hung. Beat Wolfley. Tariq Abdalat. Aaron Ouyang He. Sri Kajula. Taylor Smith. Jeffrey Webb. John Morgan. Gabriela Bello. Erin Nicole Gums. Liz Koenig. Tal Eidelman. And Om Chitale.
Okay, it is time. At this time, will all the candidates for the degree Berkeley Master of Business Administration from the full-time and from the evening and weekend programs please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the President of the University of California and the Chancellor of UC Berkeley, I grant you the degree Master of Business Administration. Congratulations. Congratulations. And tassels can go to the left if they're on the right. Please be seated. Thank you. I'd now like to announce two more honors. The faculty of the Haas School of Business has instituted a graduation with honors program for the Berkeley MBA program to encourage students to strive and to keep striving for academic excellence. The top 10% of graduating MBA students, as measured by grade point average, earn this distinction. Members of the MBA class who are eligible for this distinction based on academic performance to date are listed in the commencement booklet. So at this time, would all the Berkeley MBA students who are honors candidates please stand and be recognized by us? Congratulations to you all for your excellent academic work. I also want to now acknowledge the class of 2018 who have earned the honor of being a Berkeley Haas Beyond Yourself Fellow. Giving back to one's community is an important part of the Haas School culture. It is also part, of course, of our defining leadership principle, Beyond Yourself. Berkeley Haas Beyond Yourself Fellows program encourages students to get involved in their community while they are a student. Any student who has completed 15 or more hours of community service per semester qualifies. All Beyond Yourself Fellows are listed in the commencement booklet. Will the members of the class of 2018 who have been named Berkeley Haas Beyond Yourself Fellows please rise and accept our congratulations and thanks. Thank you. All of the graduates here have commenced a new lifelong relationship with Haas and with Berkeley as alumni. You, along with your classmates seated around you, and the roughly 40,000 other Berkeley Haas graduates around the world, are part of a network you'll be proud of and that will serve you well throughout your careers. We want you to indeed need you to stay connected to this remarkable institution and our Haas network your entire lives. Take advantage of it. It is a global resource that will always be there for you, and we hope you will always contribute back to it when others need your help and assistance. The more you lean into it, the stronger it gets. Steer promising talent that shares our values to our programs. And remember, of course, to hire Haas, because it's not just that you share an institutional affiliation. We share values, and we know that the fit is going to work. Finally, we take care of our own. We take care of our own by joining the long chain of alumni who have invested their financial resources to make your program as valuable as it is today, with the endowed chairs that keep the faculty here, the stepped-up levels of career and alumni services, the innovation labs, and of course our new Chu Hall, all things we benefit from so greatly. These are the investments, the people who came before us, who paid it forward for us and have changed the institution in their generosity. And please stay in touch. We want to hear from you often. Remember, your first reunion is only 340 days away. Put April 26 to 28, 2019 on your calendar. Do it right away. Before I bring this ceremony to a close, I want to invite all of you to join us for the commencement reception. It'll be in our Haas courtyard. We together here today are full of pride in your achievements today. We eagerly anticipate great accomplishments from you in the future. Congratulations to all of you graduates, and thank you all for coming. This commencement ceremony is concluded. Congratulations.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. And my band bought that money. Break it down. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch.